Hey guys, James here with Waterford Business Solutions, bringing you once again another video to help our clientele, HVAC plumbers, electricians, home service professionals, really understand, master their finances, and understand exactly what is going on in their businesses. And since we focus so specifically in those niches there of that home service professional, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, even going into cleaning, exterior cleaning, everything like that, we really get a unique insight of what's going on in the industry, because we can take a look and see what we're seeing with clients all over the nation, and kind of average out exactly what clients are seeing throughout the US and also in specific areas there as to how they're doing, what's going well, what's not going well, and things like that. So we wanted to start this year kind of providing a quarter over quarter kind of recap of this is what we've seen happen in these industries over this past quarter. And that way you can potentially learn from what other people are seeing. You can also relate and not be like, oh no, it's only me. So often I have clients that feel left behind or get concerned or feel worried because they're worried that they are the only one suffering this. So being able to talk with us and being able to see from us that they aren't in that case, well, it reassures them and it makes them feel more comfortable. Before we get started here, I do want to go ahead and invite you to go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel here and turn on notifications so that every week you get notifications of videos just like this to help you better understand your business, to help you better understand how you can grow your business, understand your finances, understand your taxes, and overall become a master of your own money in your business. Also, go ahead and leave a comment, share this video with anyone that you think might be able to use it. Any interaction with these videos do really help them to reach out and target even more people so that they can get the same benefit that you're getting out of this video. Now, overall, I kind of want to break this into kind of 4 different areas. We're going to talk about our home service professionals in general, kind of going into the exterior, interior cleaners, that area, janitorial, kind of more service-based things, not specifically trade-based. Then we're going to kind of group our electricians and our plumbers together because we've seen very similar trends through them in the entire year. Then we're going to talk about HVAC, then our general contractors, and then finally some different things that we want to potentially look out for as we get into Q2 here and start continuing through the rest of April into May and June. So starting out with our kind of just home service professionals in that cleaning industries and those more like service-based areas where you're coming out to the home to help everything. Overall, it hasn't been a super great quarter for them. Typically, Q1 isn't a great quarter in those areas. Most people are coming off of Christmas where they've spent a lot of money, so they're not looking to spend on the luxury areas of everything, of having a housekeeper coming in regularly or having the exterior of their home clean or anything like that. We did start seeing kind of towards the end of March a little bit of an uptick as we got into spring cleaning, where people are looking to go ahead and clean up the interior of their house, wash the exterior of their house, maybe have a few different kind of handyman services done around the house as we get into spring. But mostly we did see a fairly standard Q1 for these businesses where it was pretty slow and not a lot of money coming in here for them. Obviously not great, but it's not unusual. Now, many of those we did see that they were kind of down year over year, not substantially, but they were a little down from where they were in 2023 Q1, just due to the fact of kind of the transition and a lot of uncertainty that we've had in the economy overall, which has made people be even kind of less inclined to spend in those luxury areas. It's something we started seeing towards the end of 2023 in Q3 and Q4 with those businesses. So it'll probably be something that'll continue for a little bit longer until there's a little bit more certainty in what's going on in the economy. Now, as far as going into the electrical and plumbing, overall, those have been fairly stable, fairly flat. They're doing a little bit better than they did last year, or doing about the same that they did last year. Material expenses, sales-wise, everything's kind of staying very stagnant there. We're not seeing major drops. We're not seeing major increases. Again, typically that's what we kind of see in Q1 in these industries, but at least we're not seeing a massive drop or anything like that. While we might want to see a massive increase, again, economically, we're kind of in the same boat. People aren't wanting to spend a ton of money on redoing their plumbing fixtures or redoing light fixtures or sockets or anything like that. So it's mostly just service work that we're seeing, which is, again, fairly common for Q1. We're not seeing anything that is outside the norm there. It is slightly higher than year over year, but it's not enough to say, oh, sales are up. Most of our guys are less than a 10% increase year over year in this. Quite frankly, a lot of them are less than a 5% increase year over year. So a lot of times when we're seeing increases like that, we're generally talking coming from mild areas, generally typically coming from price increases more than anything, or cost-cutting measures that we've taken for those clients to help them and make them a bit stronger there. Now, as far as getting into the HVAC side of everything, we have seen a lot of volatility in the HVAC market in general. Most clients ended up having a really, really strong January. January was exceptionally cold, kind of across the U.S. We had a lot of cold weather, so even down into Florida, they were receiving snow, ice storms, everything like that. Louisiana, they were had snow in New Orleans. It's a lot of very cold weather that is highly unusual. So it did give us a very, very strong January for most of our clients. I saw multiple clients that ended up doubling their HVAC sales year over year or more. And so it gave us some great numbers that are definitely unusual and not something we want to plan on per se in the future. But at least for Q1 of 2024, it was a really great January. However, as we got into February and March, the weather got better. It didn't stay as cold. It didn't stay as snowy, as icy, anything like that. And so we did end up seeing a drastic drop-off of profits, of sales. And we did see, multiple clients told us legit, it sucked. That is word for word what I had multiple clients tell me. And, well, their financials don't lie. Their financials said the same thing. Both February and March were not really great months there. Definitely not looking strong, not looking great or anything there for those clients in February and March. But again, it's not super unusual to see that. This year, though, I will say was, in general, kind of worse year over year for most of our HVAC clients. So definitely not the best area to be in. Hopefully we'll see some turnarounds here. And we did start to see that towards the end of March. The last week, 2 weeks of March, we started seeing substantial increases over what sales were at the beginning of March. Clients pretty much were doubling their sales in the last 2 weeks of March over what they had in the first 2 weeks of March. So we did start to see a good bit of turnaround, which again is not unusual. We're getting into the spring tune-up season. We're getting into that spring cleaning season that we see kind of towards the end of March into the beginning of April. And so that does really help us to increase our sales and go out, do those service plans, do those RSA calls, to clients to go ahead and get some recurring work in, get some one-time work in to do a little bit of extra income towards that end of March. So we did see that turn around, and I'm sure we'll see that continue as we kind of get into April and May here, especially once we get into the hotter months of the year, because HVAC is so weather dependent. Now, getting into our general contractors here, we have seen kind of a cool down in new contracts coming in. For our high-end kind of custom home builders, I've seen them still keep a decent amount of contracts coming in, and they've got a lot of projects already in the wings for a lot of these clients, so we're not seeing too much of a slowdown there, but more in our mid-grade or semi-custom homes, stuff that's in that kind of sub $1.5–1 million range. We have started to see a little bit of a slowdown in new contracts, in new interest, so it will probably lead to later in the year less sales coming in that standpoint. But at least for kind of Q1, we saw most everything stay fairly stable. Not any major increases, but a lot of that is really going to fall down to, again, economic volatility. A lot of people are kind of concerned to buy houses, and building houses is an even bigger risk. So it is something that we'll have to kind of see where the economy goes as to what really happens with these clients going forward. Now, things that we want to kind of look out for going into Q2. We've already seen multiple emails from supply houses about impacts of tariffs on their pricing. Most of them are looking to, at the second week or maybe third week of April, increase prices there. So by the time this video is coming out, a lot of y'all will probably already see those price increases. So definitely make sure that you are keeping up to date on your price increases with your supply houses. Hopefully there are some things negotiated. These tariffs might back off, and these ultimate price increases will hopefully be null and void. But at least as of the time of the recording of this video, and I'm doing this on April 8th right now, so not even too far ahead of when we're releasing this video, we are seeing multiple supply houses indicating they are going to go ahead and up their prices during April, sometime during that period in April. The other thing to look out specifically for the HVAC industry is we do have the introduction and the deadline for the introduction of the new refrigerant coming out. Multiple states will eliminate the ability to install the older units there, so definitely something we want to make sure that we don't have a lot of that in stock, or finding ways to offload that old inventory there. But if you're in a state that doesn't have that going on, and you can still from your supply house buy the older units before they get phased out and we can't buy any more of them, definitely doesn't hurt to do, because we are going to see a pretty big jump in price on the new refrigerant units there, which is going to be a bit of a shock to the install market there because of this big uptick, just because of the new refrigerants coming out. So if your state's still allowing you to install the older refrigerant units, if you've got stuff in stock, if you've got if you can buy more of that, definitely makes sense to go ahead and try to get those out and try to work with clients there. I would recommend, if you're doing a good, better, best system, try to put those in that system where if you've got a price-sensitive customer, we're not selling those to every single customer. We're only selling those to price-sensitive customers. That way you just kind of help that inventory stick around a little bit longer for those more price-sensitive customers. We're trying to push kind of the new refrigerant into the better and best categories, the older refrigerant into the good, or someone squawks it, even the good price, so you kind of knock them down even more there to that older refrigerant. And obviously, most of the time, you're going to know as you're kind of discussing pricing with everything, it's going to really help with everything, but doesn't hurt to take a look there. As always, guys, thank you for joining us today. If you've got questions, you want to talk about your business specifically, feel free to reach out to us here at Waterford Business Solutions. Give us a call at 864-351-0852 or shoot us an email at info@waterfordbusiness.com. We work with tons of HVAC, plumbing, electrical, home service professionals, even general contractors, and we see these insights month over month. And we work with our clients not just to have the financials they need for taxes, but the financials they need to understand their business and grow their business and provide these insights like we are to you today to them every single month, and what they can do to make sure they're staying abreast and on top of any type of industry change there. Next week, we're going to go back to our more traditional stuff, and I invite you to join us there. But as always, thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.